Hello, and welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission. I'm your host, Tina Labbe, Head of Industry Relations and Career Excellence for Colibri Real Estate. I have been in the real estate education industry for over 30 years, helping individuals enter and thrive in their real estate careers.
Welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission, where we dive into real stories, big wins, and early lessons learned from highly successful rookie real estate agents and brokers. This is the series where we explore how real estate transforms lives, one home at a time, by sitting down each week with a new agent or broker who has found incredible success in their first year. Your hosts are instructors and leaders at Colibri Real Estate School, one of the largest real estate educators in the nation, where we focus on helping people like you get started or find continued success in their careers.
Stick with me today as I talk with Michelle Cheng. Michelle has multiple degrees. She was in the healthcare industry and decided to make the leap into real estate. Between managing her own move, having a baby, she has found the balance and has thrived in real estate. Learn about her work with Homes for Heroes and other ways she supports her community and her clients while she helps build her real estate business. We are here today with Michelle Cheng. Michelle, welcome. Will you take a moment to introduce yourself, where you live, and what company you're with?
Yes, hi, I'm Michelle Cheng. I'm with Remax Journey here in Rutherford County, which is in Western North Carolina, and thank you for having me today.
Yes, for sure. I'm excited to go through your story. Let's start at the beginning. What were you doing before you got into real estate?
Before I got into real estate, I was actually working in a medical office, and I thought I wanted to go into healthcare, which is, I know, completely different.
Yeah.
So I spent 2 years there in that field and realized that it just wasn't for me. I was just, finding myself getting burnt out, which I know happens in every job, but it was more of a job rather than a career, is what I realized, and it just wasn't something that I was passionate about. So.
Yeah.
Although I did enjoy, helping patients, they were very short interactions for the most part, and I just want to be more part of the community.
Yeah.
And so, I wanted to be able to use my creativity more, problem solving skills more. And so, at that point, I already had 2 bachelor degrees in science, and I had a master's degree, and I thought I was going into healthcare, but it's just never too late to change and decide that something's not your calling. It's just not.
Yeah. And so how did you end up in real estate? Like, did you have exposure to real estate? Did you talk to some people? Like, why'd you choose real estate?
Yes, I would say both. So I read a lot of real estate books, and that just really opened my eyes to, all the opportunities in real estate. And honestly, I started, uncovering different specialties that you could go to. Still today, I find new areas of specialties.
Yeah.
And, just having room to grow was really important to me. I feel like real estate's always evolving and changing. But I got into it really because, first of all, I do have people around me that I know that are involved in real estate, investing. And so I always had the opportunity to hear about their projects. So that was my first interest. But I would say the pivotal point really is when I bought my first house. I know how cliche that sounds, but that's really what got me into it. I had already read several books at that point, and I was really able to see like the buyer's perspective for the first time in real life, and so that really made me passionate about it. I was like, well, this realtor, our realtor, he was able to help us through this, and it is a very emotional process, lots of big decisions, and so that's where my passion got started, is just saying like, hey, I could do this even better, maybe than him. And I just really wanted to help people.
Yeah. And coming from healthcare, where you obviously loved helping people and seeing that connection, there really is a connection there, where you step over to real estate and you're helping people. So what'd you do? How'd you find a school? How'd you figure out how to get your license?
I had to do a lot of research and just talking to people, already in the industry helped me get started. And, people in the industry are very open to sharing their experiences and sharing, like what school they use and the process. But yeah, the process was a lot of studying. So
Yeah.
it was first the 75-hour pre-licensing course, and of course there's an exam with that. Um, and then you have to submit an application to the real estate commission and pass the background check. And then there's the PSI exam as
Yeah.
well. And so once passing that, then you get your provisional broker's license, and then I affiliated with a firm after that,
Mhm.
and then you have the 90-hour post licensing courses. So once passing that, I had to do that. I had to get those passed within 18 months, and
Yeah.
so a lot of studying
Oh
involved.
my gosh.
But once I got through that, then the provisional status was removed, and I was able to have my full broker's license.
That's amazing. So how long, I guess for the for the provisional license, how long did it take you from the day you started classes till the day you got that provisional license?
So let's see, when when I while I was earning my provisional license,
Yeah.
that took me about 4 months. And
Okay.
so while I was doing that, I was, trying to volunteer and just meet people. I was actually had moved, and so I was new to the area. So
Okay.
everything was very new to me, and I was, still exploring the area, also
Wow.
getting my house ready. So there was a lot of moving parts there, but I did go to different firms, and I spoke to different BICs and just try to get, a feel for what their firm was like.
Yeah.
Um, Once I did get my provisional license, then I came into the office, try to learn from my BIC, and also utilizing the tools. That was a whole nother learning curve as well
Yeah.
for me, because once you
Yeah.
get your provisional license, then you have access to all these resources, right? And so there was that, and then I joined the county chamber and just try to network with other, small local businesses. Um, lead generated, all the things involved with that,
Yeah.
cold calling and mailers and stuff. I went to open houses and just tried to meet other brokers, see how, what their experiences were and what they did.
Yeah.
And then I was also working on my post licensing too at the same time. So a lot of
Wow.
moving parts.
A lot of moving parts. You were busy. Did you take your classes in person, online? How'd you go through the classes?
I used an online course,
Okay.
and so I
Yeah.
went virtually on demand. I was able to set my own pace, set my own schedule. I know that's not for everybody, but for me, the closest live classes were at least an hour away, and so
Yeah.
I just felt
Yeah.
like I had experience with online prep before, so
Yeah.
it worked out for me. But yeah, that exam prep course had a lot of extra tools like live sessions, tutoring, and so I just made use of all of those tools that were available, and I feel like they really helped me with the test.
Yeah. And when you were going through classes initially, were you still working in the healthcare industry or were you able to focus 100% on the classes?
I was mostly on classes. I was
Okay.
since I had just moved, I was putting in applications at different places, but it was
Yeah.
really hard getting started
Oh, yeah.
moving to a new area.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, absolutely. Like a lot going on. So here you are, you're moving, you're going through the classes, you're trying to get involved, learn as much as you can. And then you find yourself, you finally have your license. How, from the beginning to getting um, your license, you said it was about 4 months. And then that's when you,
4 months for the pre-licensing,
okay.
and then I think it was
And then
like
it was
maybe
another,
5 or 7 months, somewhere
yeah.
between 5 and 7 months for the post-licensing part, because
Okay.
a lot of hours of credit there.
Yeah. And what was the hardest part about going through the courses?
um, I wanted to know everything, and I
Yeah.
realized that you really can't. I mean, you learn a lot as you go, and so
Yeah.
I just I guess just feeling ready to take that test, because you
Yeah.
hear a lot of people say like, "Oh, I took it," or "I took that class for 3 days," and and you just hear a lot of stories about how hard
Yeah.
it is, and so
Yeah.
I guess just that fear of failure, you really have to get over that and just like make
Yeah.
the jump. So that was really hard for me.
Yeah.
And I probably could have taken it sooner than I did. But yeah, I was kind of like, not sure
Yeah.
um, if I was going to be able to pass it the first time, which I really wanted to do just because I feel like it was going to be discouraging if I didn't. But yeah, I probably could have taken it sooner
Yeah.
than
And
I did.
well, you did it and congratulations. And here you
Thank
are
you.
today doing great. So, what were your expectations going into your first year?
Um, an expectation. Well, I thought it would be like some of the other jobs that I had already experienced, where you shadow someone for a while,
Yeah.
and then some places give you like 3 months probationary period, and you do your training, and then you work independently. But that's not at all what it was like. I did do some shadowing, but real estate. Every client is so different, and every property is very unique, and so it's really real estate is an art, they say. You have
Yeah.
to learn how to navigate these situations, and every circumstance is different. So it's just hard to predict. And so the best thing for me to do was just to dive in and gain the
Right.
real life experience, and sometimes learning what not to do,
Yeah.
just by
Yeah.
trial and error. So.
And so you were working with a company when you started. Did they help support you? Like you're there, you're day one. Like, where do you start? What kind of guidance did you get? How'd you figure it out?
Um, to be quite honest with you, the firm that I was at initially, the one I
Yeah.
started with, I was there at first, and I had a transaction there, closing there pretty quickly, and then I was just kind of stuck after that, and I didn't feel like I had the guidance that I needed
Yeah.
to move forward, and so I wish that I had made the decision to move sooner, but either way, I'm glad I did it. And so I went to a different firm after getting my post licensing out of the way and getting my full broker's license. So I moved to a different firm, and it took me a long time to get my first closing there. However, it was really worth it because once I got that first closing, it was like bam, bam, bam. All the other closings fell in place, and it just, was, I guess, validation to me that I was doing everything right that I needed to be doing. And
Yeah.
so I do feel like I got made it to making it to the next firm, that I got to a place where I had the right guidance and the right people around me to really know what to do.
Yeah. And so if you could go back and do it again, what is it about the second company that really helped you kind of find your groove? What would you have looked for differently?
So definitely, you want to talk to the BIC, and it's kind of an interview of a two-way interview instead of looking at it as a one-way interview, like when you would interview for a job. Some people look at it as a one-way street, but it's really a two-way street where you both have to. It has to work out for both people, and so I didn't treat it that way the first time,
Yeah.
and think about it as like, what can this firm do for me? And so um, I would say just know your value, and learn what that is and how to talk about it. And I feel like that goes a long way. So I did get that understanding later on.
Yeah,
So
that's great advice, though, for sure. Like finding the right people, the right environment, the right culture, the right support that works for you. So, when you started hitting your groove, let's dive into that a little bit, because I know our listeners like, okay, so what is it? How'd you do it? I mean, you said you were new to the area, you're relatively new to real estate. How'd you establish credibility, or was that ever even an issue for you?
um, credibility. Well, just you just have to start talking about real estate, really, which
Yeah.
is kind of hard at first. But I would frequent local businesses, like I said, and just talk about it. And the more you talk about it, the more comfortable you get. So
Yeah.
I would talk about like what it meant to be in the seller's market at that time. And like I said, a lot of people knew somebody or had already tried to get their real estate license, and they know how hard it is. And
Yeah.
so one of the things that I was able to say that I guess spoke to my knowledge of it was I passed everything. I passed everything the first time around. I know the material very well. Also, I guess when I made the transition to Remax, I feel like, that's a well-known brand. Excuse me, people, associate that with a high level of, quality service.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's important to people. But I also made an announcement, when I switched over, and so made it on social media, sent cards out, emails, and just letting people that I had made the transition. And it was a very natural conversation to have with people after that, because
Yeah.
people naturally ask you, hey, how are you doing at the new firm? And so that opens up, conversation, and then you can speak about your value from there.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like my previous experience, I had sales experience, marketing, customer service experience, so that also helped.
Yeah, all those things help for sure. So, how'd you find your clients? Was there a avenue that worked best for you, or a path that worked best for you to find clients?
For clients, I would say mostly sphere of influence.
Yeah.
So my sphere, but also I also use social media, and so just making sure that that I'm checking on that periodically. My websites, profiles, I'm updating on that periodically, and just being present locally at different events and stuff, and just showing people that I'm involved in the community. They need to recognize that as well, I feel like. And on my social media, I don't necessarily just put real estate related stuff. I also put other content, just so you want to keep people engaged. Not everyone is buying or selling like at this exact moment, and so there's that, as well as I guess they get to know you a little bit when you put personal things on there. So, for
Yeah.
example, I helped with a toy drive, Toys for Tots, and so I posted about that, asking for donations, and people kind of see who you are and what you're passionate about, and people connect through common interests. So that's I felt like was important on those platforms. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, because people are asking, like, well, what do I post on social, and where do I get involved in the community? I love the Toys for Tots. Are there other things you did in the community that you got involved in that you would share, or that you found connections by attending or being a part of?
Yeah, well, I'm currently a Homes for Heroes specialist, so that's a program that is involved in giving back to local heroes. So heroes would be, EMS, firefighters, military, law enforcement, teachers, and healthcare workers, which is a huge part of the workforce.
Yes.
But that's something that is, excuse me, interesting to people
Yeah.
when they hear about that. So yeah, that's something that I'm currently working on, and I hope to help someone from each of those categories as I progress with that program.
Yeah, I love that you shared that, because I think that's such important work you're doing, and you're giving back and you're building your network at the same time. And so I love that you shared that, and it's great work. So thank you for the work you do. Were there ever other marketing channels, like you said, your sphere of influence, your social media, community engagement? Did you use any other marketing channels that worked, or maybe that you tried that really just didn't work for you?
Um, let's see. Well, so something that I want to touch on are open houses.
Yes.
That's something
Perfect.
that I did at first. The way that I did open houses was I had help from my brokerage. I didn't have any listings at the time, being a new agent, and so some of the other agents would let me do an open house on their listings. So that's something that I did partake in, and at first it was a little bit, I wasn't used to talking to people, and so learning that, that kind of put me in a position where I had to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And so that was really good for me. I feel like open houses bring a whole lot of value. You could, I might not have brought a buyer to purchase the home that I'm, doing the open house for, but, other buyers will walk in, neighbors will walk in, maybe they're interested in selling their home. So that's another marketing technique is available, and I feel like brings a lot of opportunities and value
Yeah.
to my business.
Yeah, and Thank you for sharing that. Like a lot of people think the same thing. Like, I'm a little nervous about the talking to people and how to do this. And you
Hmm.
have overcome it, right? And you've actually now made that some of the value you bring is your ability to talk to people in those situations. Um, Advice for others who maybe are struggling with those communications.
With the communications of,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
talking with people at open houses and those
Oh,
kinds of things.
you really just have to dive in and practice.
Yeah,
You probably want to prepare a script though. That's something that that I feel like is helpful. If you prepare a script, know the buyer process, from start to finish. I feel like
yeah.
that's one that you want to go over with the buyer, especially. And like I said, know your value. Talk about that at the open house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great advice. Like just some of those tips and tricks that people are just thinking about as they're getting started, like, how do I do it? Or I'm nervous. So, really helpful. What do you think was your biggest challenge your first year or so in real estate?
Um, let's see. I feel like I had a lot of challenges. Let me start with just the main part is keeping a positive attitude, and especially that first year, especially if you don't get any closings at first,
Yeah.
or if it takes a while, because you're putting in your time and your energy every day, and
Mm.
when you don't get anything, it's just like very discouraging. But I feel like you if you surround yourself with other people that are trying to do the same thing or just very positive, like-minded people, I feel like that helps a lot. But see, another challenge was um, toward the end of the year, I found out I was pregnant. So that was,
Awesome.
has
Yeah.
its own challenges. And then Hurricane Helene also hit our area. So that was very
Yeah.
devastating.
Mm.
And it affected real estate in the way that like it was just very uncertain what the local market was going to do after that.
Yeah.
We had a lot of agents that lost their listings because the houses were damaged or destroyed. And yeah, we didn't know if the market was going to go up, down, what. So it was just very. We also didn't have signal for, I feel like, an uncertain amount of time. So we
Yeah.
didn't. It's hard to do showings when you don't have any kind of way to contact people, or you can't get back in touch with them, or can't use the GPS. So that was hard.
Yeah.
And then when I did start getting closings, as I got further and further into my pregnancy, it got hard to keep up. So that was like a good thing and a bad, and also a challenging thing in the same.
Yeah, yeah, that's a lot. That's absolutely a lot. Obviously, you overcame those challenges. What about a support system? Like, did you have a personal support system as well as a professional support system that, like, you're in a situation with a client and you're like, I don't know how to handle this. Who'd you call?
Yeah, I would say that my Vic was very supportive, and
Yeah,
there have been a couple of times where I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. It's very very emotional. You kind of take in what your clients are feeling too. If you're
mhm,
really passionate about it, I feel like. And so yeah, she really helped me through that. There, in general though, our office is full of very supportive people, and the seasoned brokers, they're very open to helping us newer agents. We actually had three other new agents that started around the same time that I started. So we were just, a group of
yeah,
new trainees, I guess, and
yeah,
we learned from each other. We shared hardships with each other. We went through ups and downs with each other, but we supported each other. And so that, I guess, that kind of helped, just knowing that you're not alone. You're all in the same boat. And so we
yeah.
understood, like, what all the things that could stress you out as a new agent. We were there together.
Yeah, that's so important. And would you recommend for new folks in the industry that they kind of build that like group of counterparts and relationships with others that are going through the same thing? I think it's important in
Yes.
real estate and life, right?
Yes, most definitely. I also had a connection. I had an agent that I kind of got to know before I joined the firm, and that person, I really admire and look up to, and has been a great role model for me, and sometimes a mentor to me when in certain situations. She's helped me through a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's just really, really nice to have someone that you can go to and confide in.
Yeah. So I've got to ask now, like, you had a baby, I
Hmm.
presume.
Yeah.
So how do you manage your time today? Like, I mean, you're doing real estate, got a little one. Like, how do you make it all work?
Well, just a lot of time management and
Yeah.
having to just think ahead, really just be ahead of, like, today I knew that he was going to be hungry at 10, and then kind of get a little bit fussy about 11. I fed him a little bit earlier, and so hopefully he's still napping. He's someone's watching him right now through this, but I had to make arrangements for that, of course. But
Mhm.
sometimes he goes with me, and it's not always easy, but
Yeah.
that's just part of it, part of life.
Ye-
But
Yeah.
I would say most of my all of my clients, everyone's been understanding, and they no one's complained.
Yeah.
They, if anything, they adore him. So
I bet they do. And so it is possible when, thinking about listeners that may be at home with little ones, yours very little. I
hmm
like, would you tell them that real estate is still a good career option for them?
yes, I'm so thankful that I'm in real estate right now with the baby. It wasn't planned or anything, but I
Yeah.
am so appreciative that this is what I ended up doing while I was pregnant, and then now that I have him. A lot of my clients actually even ask about him a lot of times, but they're very understanding. When I
Yeah.
tell them, like, hey, sorry, I have to feed the baby real quick. They're very understanding.
And when you're posting on social, do you keep your personal life out of it, or do you sort of intermingle your personal life with some real estate news? Like, how do you think about that?
Well, I actually have a professional profile also. So
Yeah.
that is mostly, professional. Like I said, I'll weave in maybe some local events.
Okay.
If there's a restaurant or a shop locally that I like to go to, I'll weave that in, or an event. I'll share that. I feel like, you know, just a strictly real estate dashboard, I feel like is, kind of, I guess, kind of gets old after a while, I feel like, to most people. And so, especially if it's not something that you're looking for right in that moment. But, that's also a way that I keep in touch with some of my clients, or say you have new clients coming from out of state, out of town, and they maybe need a recommendation for, a restaurant or something, they'll see it there.
Yeah.
But
It's fun.
I do try to keep the professional profile a little bit less personal, as far
Yeah.
as like posting my family pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
So those are on my personal profile, and so but yeah,
Yeah.
there I might have put my baby on the professional one, and he might have been my helper on
Yeah.
there one day.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. And, when people are looking for homes or selling homes, it's very personal and like this is real life, right? And
hmm
you have to be able to work with them through their real life situations. Do you have any memorable experiences with a client or maybe funny experiences with a client that stands out to you?
Yes, I have a very memorable one. It's almost like mortifying, but I guess because the outcome, I can laugh about it now. But so it's the first time that I ever showed a property. I mean, ever.
Yeah.
And so I left, to get there early. My plan was to open the door, turn all the lights on, and be prepared when the buyer gets there.
Yeah.
So I show up, the GPS takes me to this neighborhood across town, and I just keep circling the neighborhood, cannot find the exact house. I'm typing everything into my GPS again, checking the spelling and all of that. Um, and so as the start of the showing time gets closer, I don't really have a choice but to call my client. And so I asked her, if she's found the house or where she's at. So she's at the correct house, and it's across town. And so she was able to give me a landmark, and so I made it over there. And it was a little bit late, but I got there, and So I'm fumbling with the lockbox and then getting it open. They're standing behind me, watching me, and it becomes apparent to them that, I don't know I can't get it open. It's my first
Yeah.
time ever using the
Yeah.
lockbox either. And so that was just a very embarrassing moment for me, but they
Yeah.
were actually really nice about it. Super
Yeah.
nice about it. And so that's why I can laugh about it now. They actually, um, they bought with me in that moment. And then later they sold with me later. So it wasn't like a one-time thing. It wasn't like a deal breaker. So
Yeah.
I'm very lucky, very lucky, grateful to them.
Yeah, and it's okay to be a real person, right, in real
Yeah.
estate, and congratulations on that sale and that success.
Thank you.
That's amazing. And we all make mistakes in our first year, and I think it's important for people to know that, like, nobody's perfect, and people are kind and forgiving. So, congratulations on that for sure. So, talking about your clients, you said you've had some repeat business now. How do you
Mhm.
stay in touch with clients?
Through all different methods. I always send them, Christmas card, closing anniversary card. I'll send them a text. If I'm just thinking about them, something makes me think about them. Like I had some clients, their daughter was in dance, and I guess I was passing by the dance studio, and so I just asked about how that was going, if she, had gotten settled, and if they had gotten settled into their house, and how she was doing with her dance. Just lots of different ways, but keeping in touch is really important. And I always do try to, keep in touch with them on Facebook too, just so they can see more, like, I guess, live events as they're happening, so yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, Michelle, where do you see yourself in, say, 5 years?
In 5 years, I hope to grow my business. I don't, so hopefully that's, either through a new skill. I hope that maybe I can get another license, maybe my South Carolina license. We're actually close to the border of South Carolina, so that is
Yeah.
something that I always wanted to do. Right now, like I said, I'm a specialist with Homes for Heroes, and so I do hope to grow that program, and I hope to reach everyone in all of those different hero categories as well. I've gotten several credits toward my GRI designation, so hopefully I have that in 5 years. And then I feel like this one's really, really, I guess, close to my heart is I just hope to be an inspiration to other new agents because, I was there, everyone was there at one point, and it's difficult, but especially, moms with young children or first time moms, I hope to be an inspiration to them and show them that, they can have a career and be a mom at the same time.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful story. And you haven't been in real estate that long, and so to have the success, what's been your most successful year?
What's been
Like
my most
number,
successful year?
yeah, in terms of maybe transactions or volume.
Um, well, I would say before I had the baby, I was doing like one transaction per month.
Yeah.
And like I said, for me, it did get harder, going through my pregnancy. So that was about all I could do as I got close to giving birth. So that
Yeah.
to me was successful in my eyes.
Yeah, and that's incredible, and that's very impressive. And congratulations on your success and balancing it all. So, we're going to go into our lightning round. We're just going to do a couple of quick, fun questions, 60 seconds or less. Just the first thing that comes to your mind. The first I'm going to ask is, and they don't have to be real estate related, but they can be.
Okay.
What's a book you've read or a podcast you've listened to that you'd recommend to our listeners, and why?
I really like listening to Lee Brown's podcast. I also follow her on social media as well. I just think she has great advice, like great real advice, and she seems to be very grounded in her beliefs.
Okay.
She's been in real estate for a very long time. I believe she said since she was a little girl, and she's just really, raw and just tells it like it is. She doesn't sugarcoat what she's saying. So I just feel like that's something that I really appreciate. I like transparency.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. So if we had a time machine and you could go back to the day you started this real estate journey, what advice would you give yourself?
I would say to join a firm that offers everything you need to get started. However, I know that that's not always easy to know, when you're getting started. So just based off my experience, if you realize later that you made a mistake and, you need to switch firms, that maybe that firm wasn't the right fit for you, that's okay. It's okay to go somewhere else. It's okay to go and find a firm that is the best fit for you. And those needs do change too, I feel like during your career too. So that's okay. Don't keep doing the same thing if it's not working.
Yeah, that's really good advice. And you made that switch and it paid off for sure. Mm-hmm. So if you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
I like Barbara Corcoran. I watch her on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And, she's been a successful real estate agent. She's a businesswoman, entrepreneur, investor. I admire how she started from the ground and worked her way up. And, she just reminds people to stay humble no matter how successful you are.
Yeah, that's a great one. She's incredible. Tell us about your day yesterday. What'd you do for work? How'd you navigate your day?
So let's see. Yesterday I met a buyer and his handyman, and we went over. We tried to get a quote for repairs on the house that he's interested in purchasing on. I sent correspondence back and forth between my sellers and my seller and his and the buyer's agent. And then I prepared a CMA for a seller, updated my CRM, reviewed my business plan. I try to do that periodically. I discussed listing a property with a return client who had bought with me in the past. And I checked in on a couple of my clients and wished them a happy closing anniversary. I always find those fun.
Yes. What a great day, and what a great insight into how somebody can expect to spend their day in a lot of different things, an awful lot of different things. That's great. What is it you like most about being in the real estate industry?
It really keeps you on your toes. It never gets boring. Real estate's always changing and evolving, and that's really, I feel like maybe I have a little ADHD, but yeah, that's the part that I enjoy about it, is that it's just never bores me. There's always something new to learn.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. So any final tips and tricks as we sort of close things up here that you would like to share with aspiring real estate agents, or anything you'd like to say to them?
Everyone operates their own business very differently, I feel like. And so when you're getting started, you'll go through a lot of trial and error, figuring out what works best for you. You do have to come up with a system, to, like, everyone starts out hustling, I feel like, but at some point you'll get burnt out doing that, like trying to give your 110% each and every day will burn you out. So you do have to come up with a system. And once you find that, you need to stay consistent and do what works for you, and just be consistent and committed to that. And, it'll pay off.
Yeah, that's great advice. And thank you for sharing it. Thanks for spending the time with us today. Congratulations on your success. And I have no doubt you're going to find continued success, and you're going to hit that 5-year plan with no problem at all. So thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you, Tina.
Thanks for tuning in to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission. We hope today's stories and insights inspired you to take that next step in your real estate journey. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode, or head over to our channel to see some of the other content we've produced. We'd also love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway or a question for our next guest. If you have a recommendation for someone we should interview, please send a note to unlockingrealestate@colibrirealestate.com.